Hey guys, it's been a long minute. How you guys doing? Really sorry for dropping this one late. It's summer, so I've been away most of the time, but I'm back now and we're gonna finish off with the second part of the tutorial, which is 3D swipe interaction in Protopie. I got a lot of people asking me the easiest way this could be done in Protopie, but here's the video now. It's really short and easy, so let's get into it. So we're gonna start off by opening our designs on Figma. Remember in the last tutorial I mentioned about the designs done on Figma, but I won't be making any tutorial of how I did this. So your designs that you want to use for the swipe interaction could be literally anything, but I just choose the bookshelf for mine. So but what my main focus is these two screens, because this were the screens seen on the video at the start. So we'll be importing these two screens on Protopie now. So before we do that, just make sure Protopie is open. I already created a Pie file here, but I'll be changing this to, from the iPhone 11 Pro, I'll be changing this to 414896, which is the Pro Max, because that was the one being used on Figma here, which is this. But you can literally use any frame size of your choice, but this is just the one I prefer using because it's easier for me to test it out on my real phone. Okay, moving on, we changed that and I will start by importing this first screen now. So I'm just gonna call this page 1, so it's easier to interact with on Protopie, and I will call this page 2 as well. So I won't be importing this as a scene, which is I'll be grouping this because I want this to sit side by side on just one scene on Protopie. I will show you when we get into it now. So I'm just gonna exit this, and what I'm gonna do now is to right click and we'll be grouping the selection, and do the same thing for page 2. Right click and we will group the selection. So now it's grouped, it sort of changed the name that I just gave it, so let's just change it back to page 1, and we're gonna change this one to page 2. Okay, so I'm gonna import it now on Protopie. So you need a plugin installed on Figma to be able to import files there. So just right click, go to plugin, and you see Protopie. So I'll be importing it, so it stays as object, not as scene, because I want it to stay in one scene file on Protopie. So if I click export now, that's just gonna load. So everything is here, and see it stays here. So this is what I want, where I can easily move the screen just in this scene alone. So moving on, we're gonna import the other one now, which is page 2. Just if I select this, it's already activated to export, so I'm gonna click the button right now. So that's page 2. So if I move this out, you see the both of them here. So this is what I was talking about, grouping the file instead of exporting it as a frame. I would like them to sit side by side. So now that we have this imported, so we're gonna get started. I will move this down, and I'm gonna change this background color to the one I used on After Effects, if you can remember. So the primary color used for this design is this purple color. So I'm just gonna copy it from here because I have my style saved here already. Hit Ctrl S on my keyboard, go back to Protopie and change the background to that. And I'm just gonna activate this status bar so it kind of feel real. So you're not gonna see the color now, but if I move these two pages, you'll see it right here. So I did this on After Effects to just give it the cool feel when the screen rotates and you kind of see the background, just something cool. So I'm just gonna move these back here, and we're gonna get started. So first thing first is to make these two pages stay together. To create a paging container, which is here. So you go to container and you click paging container. So I'm just gonna pull this to fit the whole screen, which is 414 and 896. So I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit. You see the container fits it. If we're not sure, you could just easily check it here. So what I'm using here is 414896, which is the same size here. So after that, I'm going to just call this scroll. Sorry, I'm gonna call that scroll container. And I'm going to pull this here and I'm going to put this underneath it so all of them stays in that whole container. And this is clipped, so that's why the other one went off. But if I want to make the other one visible, I just have to uncheck this here and it shows. Okay, moving on, we're gonna start with the main 3D rotate now. If I preview this just scrolls like this, so it's just a basic scroll, but what we're after is a 3D rotate. So starting it now, we're gonna go to add trigger and I'm gonna go to the conditional triggers, which is the chain. So what I'm gonna select now is the scroll container, and what we're gonna target, it's not the X or the Y, we're gonna get the scroll. So I'm gonna add a new, so I'm gonna click on this and we're gonna add a 3D rotate. So it's set to scroll container, but we're gonna change this from scroll to the first one, which is page 1, which is this. And the pivot, its origin, I'm going to make it custom, and because we want it to rotate to this side, I'm gonna put it to the right side, which is this. So changing it from this to the right one, which is this, or if you're not sure, you just type 150. So for the perspective depth, by default it's 400, but this just determines how the perspective of the 3D rotates or how it's gonna be like. We're gonna change it from 400 to 800. So for the range, the first scroll position, it's gonna be 0, which is this. So scrolling to 414. So we're gonna set this to 414. Then here we're gonna set it to 0 again for the angle, and I'm gonna set this to -90 degrees. But we don't want it to scroll to this, so we're gonna set this from this direction to the second one. And if I preview this right now, this is how it's gonna be. So if you see, the first page is going to the left with the way we want, but the right one isn't fully what we want. So but we're gonna fix that right now. So to interact the second one, we're just gonna copy this and right click again and paste this here, because it's just easier to do it that way. So on the second one, so just if you guys guess what I'm gonna do, it's pretty easy. So we're changing this from page 1 to page 2 container, which is this. So it's the second page, which is this one right here. So after that's changed, so we're gonna change it. So from the right, we're gonna change it all the way to the left. So it's like kind of like the opposite thing of what we did here, we're gonna do for here. So it's gonna have the same perspective. So this is still gonna be 0 and 414. So it's the only reason why this is 414 is because of what we're using. So if you would have used the iPhone 12 mini 375, it should start at that. So 414 is not just a number I'm putting there, it's based on the X value of what I'm using for this preset, which is 414896. That's what we have here. So it's for the page 2, it's still gonna be 414, but we're just gonna change this to 90 and we'll change this to 0. So checking that now, should be working now. So if I try scrolling, see, it scrolls. If I scroll back, it scrolls, so I can even easily play around it. So you see the cube thing. Perfect, it worked. So that's it, guys. It's really short. I told you this is gonna be a short one. So the reason why you see the purple color in the background just give it kind of like a cool vibe. So that's why I do like to include colors when I'm making a 3D swipe interaction. So that's basically it, guys. I'm going to drop the spy file, the link in the description. If you feel like you need more practice or you want to use mine or just want to check or yours is probably not working out fine, leave a comment in the section below. Also, I'll be dropping the Pi link for download, so you can download it and test it in your own time with your own phones and whatever. Thank you guys for watching. This is the end of the video now. I'm gonna make a new one, hopefully.